Today we're going to talk about a topic that you never ever hear in sales training, but it's an absolute crucial one to understand. And in the community, it was an advanced topic that we had, but it was an absolute Jedi move that really gave us this intense shot of confidence and being able to really control a situation and knowing that you get to define the outcome. Today we're going to talk about exactly what to do when you have somebody that's giving you a BS objection, just a total bogus objection, and how to overcome it. Now here we always talk about the fact that trying to overcome objections is a red herring. It's totally unnecessary, it's stupid, it's bogus, and you don't need to do it. The people, when they give an objection, they mean it. And if they're doing that, it's because they don't trust you. But today we're going to talk about something that happens on the fringe of that. Now, you could have a situation where everything goes well, it's lining up, they're ready to buy, they're pretty much ready to sign the deal, and you kind of get a little bit of body language after they've signed. And you get a sense that, okay, are they getting nervous? Are they anxious? Are they having second thoughts? And we all face that. Now, if you don't address that, you're going to get what they call in sales training buyer's remorse, meaning they've bought it, but for whatever situation, they're just thinking, man, maybe I shouldn't have done that. And it's never logical. It's always an emotional reaction. But a lot of times you're going to get somebody that is ready to buy, they've signed, and you'll kind of get that body language where you can sense they're just a little anxious. Today we're going to talk about how to get rid of that forever. I mean, slam the door on it so you never have to face it. Now here at the Sales Cheat Code, we always talk about the fact that you shouldn't be overcoming objections, that objections are signs that people don't trust you and that they're not genuine, that people don't want to argue and be debated into changing their mind because they just generally don't do it. But today we're going to talk about something on the fringe of that. It's not really an objection, but it's kind of a flailing last minute sense of anxiousness they have where you can tell maybe they want to give an objection, but they're not really ready to. And this is the difference between somebody who buys and is highly committed and refers tons of people and somebody who is just waiting to cancel on you. Today we're going to talk about a topic in the community where we address just that, and it's called LMR, or last minute resistance. Now, if you have kids in the room, this is the time you probably want to pause the video, get them out of the room, put some headphones on, because we're going to get a little bit more adult on this one. Now, in the community, when we would identify our target, we would intro ourselves, we would build up our value, we would set compliance tests, and we would be ready to take that meeting to the next level. That could be either bouncing or any number of things. Eventually I got to a point where it would be physical, and girls are trained that they don't necessarily want to be easy. They don't want to be somebody who's just easy to have a physical relationship with. And so we had a term in the community where this whole sense of her trying to justify herself to people and to girls that aren't even there, we called it ASD, which is the anti-slut defense. So what it means is she basically doesn't want to look back and say, man, I just was way too easy. I can't believe I gave up that easy, whether it's kissing or more or whatever it is. They would have a number of different tactics or things they would do within the realm of ASD, or anti-slut defense. But one of them, the most common one that we saw, was LMR, and that's a last minute resistance. And what it means is they're just about ready to finally say yes. But at the very last minute, and it's never logical, it's always emotional, they would come up with the most bogus excuse possible. I mean, it was really dumb. I mean, it literally, if you wrote it on paper, you're like, I can't believe anybody would even say that. But it happened all the time. Now, betas, guys that really don't have a high value, but they're pretending to have a high value, they would fall for it every single time. And they would take this LMR and they would literally let the girl lead, which means the guy had no success. But an alpha is different. The alpha is always going to take the reins. And when they identify something that just shouldn't be said, or doesn't make any sense, or isn't worthy of the standing that they have, they're absolutely going to shut it down. And that's what we did in the community. A lot of times they would say something where you could tell it was almost like their best friend was there, was in their ear. They're going to tell you something that's just token resistant. There's no depth behind it. You can't really take it seriously, but you do need to address it. At that point in time, what they're really doing, and they don't even know it, was they're testing to see if you're an alpha. Are you going to follow this pathetic excuse? So they know it's pathetic, but yet they're doing it at a subconscious level. Or are you going to be the alpha? And are you going to take command. In the community, that's exactly what we did. The solution to last minute resistance is a very direct approach, and we're just going to cut to the chase. And it worked every single time, because once you did that, you took that direct approach, that LMR disappeared. You never ever saw it again. Now in sales, it's no different. The person's ready to buy, or seemingly, and right as they have the pen in hand, or they're getting ready to sign, or you're going over the final numbers and drawing up paperwork, they give you some pathetic excuse. And you know it's pathetic. You're frustrated, you're pissed off because you know you shouldn't be facing this. You did everything right, and yet you're getting this pathetic excuse at perceivably the worst possible time. And most salespeople, what they do is they try to overcome an objection. And what it does is it retreats the sales process from where you're at back to almost the beginning of the process. And so you're treating them as if they're not going to buy. But once they've gone through everything, you've identified everything, you've firmed things up, you've made an agreement, you're ready to go, and they give you some pathetic last minute resistance, really what you need to do is you need to demonstrate that you're the alpha. And so that's where literally you're just going to go, look, we made an agreement. This relationship is built on trust. I'm going off of everything you said, and you lay the pen down. It's time for you to sign and get started. And at that point in time, when it's last minute resistance, they're going to do it every single time. But when you get that last minute objection, and it's not really an objection, you know it's pathetic, you know you shouldn't be getting it, you know there's no substance behind it, you don't acknowledge it and treat it for what it isn't, which is a full-fledged meaningful objection. You treat it for what it is. It's not important. It's not genuine to the conversation that you had. Really, at this point, the person really needs to feel that they have an alpha that's going to take care of them. And if you become that beta and follow them, they're not going to buy from you because you've completely sold out everything that you've said and done prior to, and they've seen that you're a beta, and they're just not going to want to work with you, and they're not going to sign up. But when they see you as an alpha, and you take control of the situation and you're telling them what to do, it reinforces the fact of your high value. And in essence, it's a secondary compliance test, because we always do a compliance test first, but it's a final compliance test where you're telling them what to do. Man, I can't tell you how many times this has happened where I take that direct approach, I tell them what to do, and they just do it. And at that point in time, you start to really realize that when somebody gives you an objection, especially at the very end, they're BS. I mean, they're all BS, but the ones at the end are particularly more BS. And at that point, and going forward, you're really going to have it sink in of just how important it is to know how unimportant objections are in the sales process. And you do this with absolutely hammering out that last minute resistance.